I was a little puzzled while he was doing the introduction. He asked a question, employability. I thought there will be some 20 hands that will go up to answer the question. Everybody was quiet. Maybe you should have given 30 more seconds for them to answer. Anybody want to take a shot? What is employability? Yes, sir.
Ability to get employment for all the people with the skill, knowledge, and attitude.
Okay. Ability to get employed. Okay. Interesting.
Basic degree plus soft skills plus technical skills equivalent to employment.
Soft skills plus technical skills equal to employment. Okay. Skills required to get a job. So everything revolves around job finally. Okay. Good. So that's what we are going to be talking here. We have a power panel, as you heard. They're going to be doing a lot of the talking. And so are you. We are very clear. So we don't have presentation, maybe 1 or 2 slides, but we want to really be wanting to be talking to all of you. Because end of the day, no matter what we are going to say from industry perspective, whether the employability quotient or the factor increases or decreases is going to be in your hands predominantly. And you will increasingly hear from all of us, and you'll continue to hear there are always jobs to be grabbed. Right? It is not that there are no jobs available and my students are all out there looking for a job. And there are several statistics that shows that, right? So, which is what we'll be talking about. And just to give an intro to that, it's my take, that I've always been very vociferous about it. In my experience, there are 2 professions that are life-altering in the world that I see. Okay? One is the medical profession, the doctors, right? And the other one? I thought the whole house would be rocking. Teaching. You can be proud about it. I don't know why you are so quiet about it.
Humble.
Oh, who said humble? Thank you, sir. The way I saw it, I have a better view, fortunately from here, seeing all of them. They were hesitating to answer. That is not humility, right? Humility is still saying it with a pride, but still not, showing an ego with it. But so let's all be very proud, and more importantly, be very clear that you are in a life-altering profession. Right? If you look at it that way, then the whole equation changes, right? You cannot be then looking at your placement officers alone to say that, okay, why aren't the students not getting placed? They are only the final stretch in a 800-meter relay. They can run only as fast as it's possible for your placement officers. How many placement officers here? Okay. Good. How many are faculties and HODs? Very good number. Okay. So this point is for you, so not for the placement officers. Right? It's you along with the student who run the initial stages of this relay, right? And finally they pick up the baton and finish it. So there's no point in looking at the last guy who ran the relay to say that you didn't come first. Unless you give them the head start. Right? Which is what you are expected to do. Okay, there are still people who are looking puzzled. Something that I learned from my mom, she always kept saying, she still keeps saying, she's 80 plus now, is to be honest to yourself, whatever you do. So I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you were asked to go here or come here? How many of you are forced to attend this today? Yeah, there is an award for all of you along with a lunch. Lunch is not the award, so lunch is natural. Okay, even if you are forced, it's okay. I was hoping for at least 2, 3 honest souls to raise their hands, but that's fine. So hold the truth to yourself, it's fine. We are not here to embarrass you or put you in a spot. It might be that my HOD is also here. What are you talking about? I'm not going to raise my hand now. I'll tell you during the tea break. But that's fine. But now that you are here, why don't you make use of that opportunity to really see what you can do? Other than really checking out, can your institution visit my campus for placement? And to me, I always feel that should not be by invitation or by force. It should be by natural choice. Can you do whatever it takes for an institution to knock on your door saying that, can you give me day 1, day 0 of your recruitment? And I think you have arrived. That's the well-oiled machinery that you are all capable of creating, all of you, including the placement officers, but predominantly the HODs and the faculty members, right? There are certain institutions where, there are certain colleges where a lot of the corporates keep knocking on their doors for day 0 and day 1, and you know. I'm not just talking about only the IITs and NITs, right? And why can't your institution be one of them? And it's absolutely in your hands, nobody else's. And I'll tell you why. We hired good number, 200, 300 people in a year at least. And when during the induction, we put these kids through projects. Right? It's a 6 to 8 week induction, and believe me, we end up teaching them what we expect them to know already. We end up teaching them. You know, and over the course of our session, you will also get to see some numbers, what National Skills Development Corporation says about the employment ready of the college students, which is something that can be done at your level, believe me. So anyway, these kids finished are doing their projects, and I was sitting with them for the project review. I said, what's going on? You haven't followed these steps. And I'm talking about computer science from some of the premier institutes. How many computer science professors or HODs here? Oh wow, good number. So you're basically asking them the SDLC procedures that they were following. They said, yeah, we know, but we don't follow it. I said, why? How did you complete your project in your bachelor's? As long as the output is there, we are given full marks. You may want to quietly acknowledge it. You don't have to raise your hand to acknowledge if it is in fact true in your life as well as a professor. But to me, that was very sad. More than being shocking, it was very sad. I think that's an injustice done to the students as well. And to us, we start all over again. Right? Okay, fundamentals of SDLC. Because for us, that's bread and butter in IT, and you're going to hear from non-IT as well. For us, that's fundamentals, right? And that itself is not there. I'm not even talking about that being weak, that itself not being there. And what happens? These students end up being your brand ambassador, except that in a wrong way. And the news goes back to our recruitment team or the talent acquisition team, and then you know what will happen next year. Your whole cycle will start. Can you visit our campus for recruitment? Okay, and the reason I keep saying it's in your hands is that whenever we speak or wherever we address, and a lot of my colleagues here who are here, my friends, we always say, no, you don't understand, there is a curriculum restriction. Right? Agree? How many of you are in Chennai Bridge? You remember the gentleman who got the award from Malabar College, right? Best Techno Faculty Award? He also had restrictions on curriculum. But he was able to reach to the students much better. Because the students that you are dealing with are increasingly going to be different. It's not about just talking about Gen Y, it's about understanding them also. These are the guys who want instant appreciation, right? They post something, they want to see 40 likes in the next 2 minutes in their Facebook. So you have to adapt to their style. And better yet, I was talking to my son. My son is in 11th grade, he's into physics big time. He's talking to his physics teacher. He goes for some physics coaching separately. Dr. Sampath is his, Balaji Sampath is his name, in Chennai. So I was asking him what's going on. He said, Anbu, these guys have gotten into a very interesting project. It's mind-boggling. So when it comes to accuracy, anybody can recollect Mahabharata, any situation particularly in Mahabharata on accuracy? Right? So Bhima sees the whole world, not the bird, obviously. He's a different personality, and Yudhishthira sees birds and something else, and Nakul and Sahadev, they all see different things. And our Arjuna sees just the pupil in the eye, not even the eye, right? The dot in the eye of the bird, yeah? So he just says, I see the dot in the eye of the bird. So these kids have started a project. I'm waiting to see what's the outcome. They are saying, by physics we can prove that is wrong. There's no way Arjuna could have seen that dot in the eye and shot the arrow the way he shot it, because the projectile doesn't prove that he could have shot it. Mind-boggling, but believe me, those are the students who are sitting in your classroom. Those are the students who are sitting in your classroom who will question every assumptions made mathematically, physically, historically, and through mythology as well. They're there to question, and unless you address those things, you cannot reach to the stage to prepare them. And I'm not talking about just the Java and the communication skill. To prepare them to be employable. Right? Which is what the corporate looks for, friends. For them to be employable. Right? So, without any delay, I'm going to invite the panel to share their experience and what is the expectation from each of the corporate that they represent in terms of employability. And I hope you will pick up some points where you can adapt to it, and please keep this, I always call this blinds that comes in saying that I cannot change anything because my management doesn't allow me to change, or the Anna University syllabus does not do anything to let me change. All that I think is, in my opinion, an excuse. I'm sorry to say that, that's an excuse that we want to give. There are people who have broken that barrier, still within the defined norms. I'm not saying go violate the norms. Still within the defined norms to develop these kids, because they are your only brand ambassador. Alumni of your college are your only brand ambassador in the corporate. And all of us repeatedly go to certain institutions because of that brand that they have brought into our institutions. And vice versa as well. That we have decided not to go to certain places because of the brand that they have given to us, right? So with that, I will invite Mr. Senthil Nagam from Hexaware to share his views.